on this opposition phone, the same as the one.
But your phone looks cheap. So
Can we try Mwaruma's phone?
Let's try and
See whether the results will be the same.
That's a techno.
But Chair, there's a question the governor
That's a
didn't
techno
answer.
one.
Yeah.
There's a question the governor didn't answer.
Yes, Senator's phone.
On that same schedule. Now he wants to run away from his schedule, but Governor, you needed to answer whether on that schedule you provided, I can tell which date that amount was incurred. Is there a column that refers to any time?
Senator, there's through the chair, there's a column for the financial year.
Where is that?
It says...
Which column is that?
It doesn't refer. It's just about payment date.
It's his document. You know, if you read yours, he will run away from it. Let him read his own document.
And there is a date that there's a column that says payment date.
Yes, that is the only one that has dates, Governor.
Payment date.
Yes.
So those are actual settlements,
Yeah.
not liabilities.
So how do you know, Governor, that this is a historical thing because you say it started in 2022? If you just went with that first one there, advertising, awareness and publicity campaigns, it says 2024, 2025. Is that when it was incurred?
You know, the dot shown here is the payment date because, I mean, is the date in which it was incurred, not the payment date. But
So, Governor, you agree with me then that this is not historical date?
Actually,
these are largely historical.
This is a payments list. That's why I asked the question whether this is a list of invoices paid or payable. But it appears they are paid because there's a payment date, the 1.3.
You know, Chair, at the time of the audit, it was payable, but now it's been paid. You know, because the audit itself happened. We're talking of 2024,
So the 1.3 billion, the 1.3 billion that was exhumed has been paid fully.
Partly paid.
But this schedule totals to 1.3.
Yes, partly paid, because every year we provide an amount for pending bills and then tick off from this list. So we can reconcile to say what has been paid and what's not been
Just
paid.
Governor, for clarity.
Again, Judge,
for clarity.
again, just 1 minute, because on that point.
As of
Then
today,
if it is-
partly paid.
If it is partly paid, then again, Governor, the easiest thing would have been for you to tell us, these are already paid and these are not paid.
But my question has not been answered.
Right.
You have provided me a document that cannot help me understand that process that you spoke about. I should be able to know that that first item there, instead of telling me you've paid it or when you paid it, when was it incurred is more important in the conversation we were having, because you say these things are historical. And Governor, you know, you are a CPA, I'm a lawyer. The word historical should mean the same to both of us.
Yes.
Yeah, so the documents that you should provide is to show us, for instance, you talked about classrooms that had been built that have not been paid for. You should say, this classroom at this place was built in 2019 and it has never been paid for. We are paying for it in 2022, 2023. That's what I expect from a CPA.
Senator, I hear you and I agree. We provided this to the auditors and all this was provided. But, Chair, I am okay to go back to this and give further data on when incurred, whether paid, whether not paid, and
the process.
And the process.
And the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we will not be unfair if we reach the conclusion that these are manufactured in the absence of clarity on the process.
Chair, to me, this schedule says the wording there, payment date. To me, this 1.3 billion has been paid as per this schedule, unless the governor would want to withdraw this document. Because it says payment date. So the English I know is that, the English I know of a lawyer, of a church elder, or a bishop like my brother here, is payment date has been 1.3 billion. So, Governor, are you withdrawing your own document to get us a better document? Because you have now introduced another angle, it is partly paid. Because we don't want to imagine that this was a payment error, the payment of error. Because looking at most of these issues, there is no specificity. Somebody who from Wajir, wherever they come from, Wajir North or South, or even Wajir County, if I tell them county has paid money for access roads to this amount, where do they attach? Because I'm happy you said you did a social audit. You send people on the ground. So when you say access roads, which road from point A to B that was done with how much, how many kilometers, all those, Chair, if they are missing, I might want to associate yourself on the issue of either manufacturing or cooking, whichever you want to go home with.
No, Senator Cherge, you are doing very well until you get there.
Order, Governor.
You are not.
Chair.
Governor, order.
You are not in charge of this meeting.
Order. We were doing very well until Governor took the microphone.
Correct.
So
And my advice, he should switch off his microphone. It is safer not to talk.
Okay. Members, we have done very well so far, so let's not lose it. I think let's round up this matter so that we are clear on what we expect from the governor, and then we can deal with other issues. Senator Lelegwe.
Chair, I disagree with the governor's response in my query when I asked him about the 1.399 million figure. You said it is a classroom, and when you build a classroom in Wajir, there is a possibility that you will have the same figure. But now, if you see the list of those people that have been paid, or the companies that have been paid, are 60 different companies. So how can 60 different people quote the same figure, 1,399,400, 60 times?
And again, to add on that, the cost of doing a classroom, the farthest end of Wajir cannot be the same cost of doing a classroom in Wajir town.
You see, members, we are querying this schedule and giving the impression or assumption that the process was okay. If the process was not proper, then even the discussion on the contents of that list stands on very shaky ground. So we must first establish that process.
Yeah. To help answer Senator Lelegwe's question, Senator Lelegwe, first of all, you have to appreciate that these were awarded by the previous regime. So if they decided they are going to award every classroom for 1.399, regardless of where it is, but for me, I have decided to pay the classroom because it's verifiable. I just have to live with that. And it was not unusual for them to use one number for all dispensaries, one number for all classrooms. And there are places where we even questioned and said, yeah, this thing is physically verifiable, but the amount being quoted does not really make sense. So the ones that we thought the cost was reasonable in light of the scenario we were facing are the ones that we decided to include in what is payable. So it was usual in that regime to say 10 dispensaries, each at 3.8. As you say, the procurement process, if done objectively, should have had certain differences. But here you are. You have the classroom, you are seeing it. And by the way, in certain cases, Senator, for you to understand this, there are cases where the public have threatened to close the classroom. There are others where they've gone to court and the court asked us to pay. And this is why I want to improve that list with a lot more details, not to disown it, as Secretary Cherge says, but provide more details as to those things. Yeah.
Okay, Senator Sifuna, hopefully you are giving us a way forward.
Before we depart from that note 17, I'm just wondering if there's another audit query there. But Governor, what is that item number 2 there? Or under use of goods? Yeah. Yeah, what is that? At note 17 of the financials.
That ought to be property, plant and equipment.
No, I think I want him to tell us, Chair.
Yeah,
Because,
Governor?
you know, we have discovered that words mean differently to different people.
Yeah, Governor? Actually, why can't it be? What was that thing used during COVID?
That's why I want him to be the one to say it. Chair.
Yeah, so I withdraw my definition. Let's get the governor's definition of that PPE.
Note 17.
Governor, you are the CEO and you had the notes before you. I just want to know what it means. The financials. Or the financials. Oh. It's on page 26, officer. There's an item there for 2,179,000,000. Yes. What is that second item on the column there? It's page 26, note number 17.
Nobody knows what this is.
So I think that PPE, Senator, is property, plant and equipment. So it's 2.179 billion.
How is it wasn't in the previous statement? Previous year's financials.
This is the first year of a whole account. Previously, we were cash.
Just use the mic, please.
And Senator, because in the previous year, there was a need to put this in the financials in that sense because we were on cash basis accounting.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's not the answer, Governor. That figure is part of the 1.3 that the auditor is querying. That was not there in prior year. So
That is why,
your
Chair,
explanation is only half of it.
I thought that they could be related, those two.
Auditor General?
Thank you, Chair. The reporting template for the 2024-2025 and allowed the first-time adopters of the accrual to take some advantage. But they are also,
Auditor, go straight to the issue.
yeah, that's why I'm saying
The 2.17 billion that Senator Sifuna is saying was zero prior year.
so there
Is it part of the 1.3 that
No,
you're saying was not,
it is not.
disclosed?
It is not.
Okay, so where is it coming from?
It is not for the I think for the bring me the
Chair,
And Auditor, remember you are not the preparer of this financial statement, so you can just comment on
I wanted to
matters of
assist the
standards.
understanding. I wanted to assist the
Yeah,
understanding.
rather than the completeness of numbers.
Chair, the 1.3 actually, because that note on payables is everything, whether historical or recurrent. So the 1.3 is indeed part of that.
Yeah, so Auditor, I think let's leave it there because we'll start contradicting ourselves. So it's part of that 1.3 that the auditor said was not disclosed. And Senator Sifuna, you asked whether there were other audit queries on that note. Indeed, there is one. Let's go straight to it. Then we will give general recommendations on trade payables and remitted statutory and employee benefit deductions.
Chair, maybe with your indulgence, you didn't give direction on 1.3 billion.
No,
Because,
since it's all part of note 17,
Yes.
we look at the statutory deductions.
Then you rule on the same.
Then we give a global advice. Auditor General, you could read your finding on pension, statutory and employees benefits deductions, a figure of 732 million, which is included in note 17. It's under the report on lawfulness, and in the original certificate, it's issue number 6, unremitted statutory and employee benefit deductions. And if you go back to note 17, you'll see the social security benefits and employee payables.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Unremitted statutory and employees benefits deductions. The statement of financial position reflects trade and other payables balance of KSh1.3B, 586,633,121, and as disclosed in Note 17 to the financial statements, including the balance is an amount of Kenya shillings 732,615,329 in respect of unremitted statutory deductions to the National Social Security Fund and employees' contribution to local authorities, pension trusts, and local authorities' provident fund, some dating back to 2014-2015 financial year as detailed below. So you have the table there. This is contrary to section 19.
Harry, it's important just to read the components and the amounts. Okay. It's not too long.
Okay, you have the component and the amount. First, the component is basic salary, civil service. This is, I think it belongs to SACCOs of 75,778,665. Then you have employer contribution to staff pension scheme of 535,904,297. Then we have employer contributions to National Social Security Fund of 7,650,480. Then we have graduate civil servants, 113,281,987. Thank you, Chair. This was contrary to Section 19, Subsection 4 of Parliamentary Act Cap 226, which states that an employer who deducts an amount from an employee's remuneration shall pay the amount so deducted in accordance with the term period and other requirements specified in the law, agreement, court order, or arbitration as the case may be. Thank you, Chair.
Governor?
Chair, the county government.
Just because we have jumped a few issues, just point us to the page where you're reading your response from.
Page 23. 24.
Page 23.
24.
24 or 23? Okay, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Different pages. Mr. Chairman, the county government encountered disagreements with the pension schemes regarding interest and penalties.
Sorry, Governor. That's page 25.
Yeah.
Page 25.
Yeah, it says 24 mine, but
25.
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
The county government encountered disagreements with the pension schemes regarding interest and penalties, where the penalties were multiple times higher than the principal amounts. The county continues to engage with the relevant authorities to resolve this dispute in a fair and compliant manner. Steps taken: the county government has already cleared, as part of the statutory liabilities, KSh1.9 167,057